It all begins in Holtorf, a small city in Germany, where a boy named Moritz is getting ready for the big final of the Youth Soccer Championship. His father Hol, who is also the team's coach, calls him to eat, but Moritz keeps practicing his ball juggling. Eventually, he accidentally kicks the ball onto the table, and after getting scolded by his father, he heads to the car. Before leaving, he asks his mother Yianina to please come watch him play. She's always busy, but promises she won't miss it this time. Father and son drive to the stadium for the final match against Epleken, but things don't go well. Holtorf loses to 2-1 in the last play. Moritz receives the ball right in front of the goal with the chance to tie the game, but his imagination takes over. He pictures himself scoring the winning goal in the World Cup final, tries a spectacular bicycle kick, and ends up kicking the rival goalkeeper in the nose. The match ends and Epleken takes the trophy. His teammates are angry with him. It's not the first time his daydreaming has ruined an important opportunity. In the locker room, his mother arrives late to the match. She tries to comfort him, and together they go to look for his father, but they find him in a romantic moment with the team's secretary. Furious, Yianina demands a divorce and takes Moritz to live in Epleken, the city where her father lives. There, they reunite with Grandpa Rudy. Moritz settles his things into his mom's old room and tries to adapt to the change. While Yianina encourages him and promises that Rudy will take him to the Epleken stadium, he can join their youth team. The next day, Rudy takes him to the stadium and speaks with the coach, Rothkirch, but the two don't get along. Reluctantly, Rothkirch tells his son, the team captain, to give the boy a chance. But the captain turns out to be Mark, the goalkeeper Moritz accidentally kicked in the face during the final. Mark recognizes him instantly, and together with his teammates, they start firing balls at him just to mock him. Rudy steps in and takes his grandson away. Moritz tries to thank him, but the old man remains silent and serious. The following day, Moritz starts at his new school. During recess, a boy named Ines approaches him. He's also dealing with his parents' divorce and introduces Moritz to his brother Emmett and their friends Nico and Katrina. They invite him to play soccer, but Mark and the Epleken players show up to tease them. Mark kicks their ball away and tells them not to even try. They're not a real team. That only motivates Moritz more, and he proposes forming their own team. After looking for a place to practice, they find an abandoned lot next to a junkyard. Even though it's in terrible condition, they decide to fix it up and turn it into their soccer field. Moritz registers the group for the upcoming Youth Cup and names them the Devil Kickers. When the secretary asks for the coach's name, he writes down his grandfather's, since Rudy used to be a soccer player. With a lot of effort, the kids manage to clean the field and prepare for training. Moritz is thrilled. They'll finally get a chance to face Mark and his team. But just as he says that, Mark shows up and threatens to beat him up. At that moment, a group of young parkour athletes steps in to defend him. Their leader, Alex, a 6th grader, scares the bullies away and invites Moritz to join their group. The boy accepts, not realizing that this will be the start of a brand new adventure. That night, Yianina asks Moritz to take dinner to his grandfather Rudy, who works as a night guard at a shopping mall. Moritz uses the opportunity to talk about his team and ask him to be their coach, but the old man barely pays attention. Instead, he talks about his late wife Marianne, remembering that when he was young, he played forward for the Epleken team alongside his best friend Rothkirch. Everything changed when both fell in love with Marianne. She chose Rudy, and Rothkirch never forgave him. Since then, the two have never spoken again. Unable to convince his grandfather, Moritz goes back home. The next day, he begins training with his team, the Devil Kickers. Alex introduces his friends as the new players. With them, the team finally has the 11 members needed to compete in the Youth Cup. During practice, the kids use their parkour skills to pull off some spectacular moves, though most of them end in failure. Still, Moritz keeps everyone motivated, convinced that with enough effort, they can beat Mark and his team. But at the end of training, Katrina gets upset because Moritz only cares about winning and not about enjoying soccer. Not understanding why she's angry, he watches her storm off. That night, the reason is revealed. Mark is her half-brother, and her stepfather doesn't let her play soccer because he says it's not a sport for girls. He forces her to play tennis instead. Even so, Katrina refuses to give up and continues training with the boys in secret. Days go by and the team starts having problems. During practices, arguments are constant. In one play, Moritz asks Katrina to pass him the ball, but still upset, she ignores him and kicks it in another direction. He loses his patience and tells her she's only ruining the team so Mark can win. That sparks a fight. They argue loudly until their teammates separate them. The day of the first qualifying match arrives. The Devil Kickers versus Aplaken, while Ince paints the numbers on the shirts. The referee notices they only have 10 players. Katrina hasn't shown up yet, and they don't have a coach either. Moritz assures him both will arrive soon. Desperate, he calls his mother and asks her to tell his grandfather to bring him his teddy bear, his lucky charm. At first, Rudy refuses, but eventually decides to go to the field, unaware of his grandson's plan. As soon as he arrives, Moritz tells the referee that their coach is finally here. Right at that moment, Katrina shows up too, completing the team just before kickoff. The match begins, and it's a disaster. There's no coordination, no teamwork, and the Devil Kickers end up losing 12-0. The humiliation leaves everyone discouraged. But Moritz cheers them up, reminding them there's still a second qualifying game left. However, when they return to their practice field, they find several tractors tearing it apart. A new building is going to be constructed there. Everything seems lost, but Moritz refuses to give up. That night, he secretly gathers the group and takes them to the shopping mall where his grandfather works as a night guard. Using Rudy's security card, they sneak inside while the old man is asleep at his post. There, among hallways and escalators, the team starts training again. Moritz tries another bicycle kick, but the ball flies toward the escalator just as his grandfather is coming down. Rudy catches them in the act and realizes what they've been doing, and also discovers that Moritz signed him up as their coach without asking. But instead of getting angry, the old man smiles and tells them they have talent, though they still don't know how to play as a real team. To everyone's surprise, Rudy agrees to become the official coach of the Devil Kickers, promising to train them for their second qualifying match, which will take place in just 4 days. The team is more motivated than ever. Under Rudy's guidance, they begin serious training. The grandfather teaches them how to keep possession of the ball and how to work together, not as individuals. Over the next few days, practices become more creative. They even train ball control and dodging inside a pottery workshop. Slowly but surely, the Devil Kickers start to improve. Finally, the day of the match against Walpert arrives. Before the game begins, Rudy gives them brand new uniforms and tells them they can only keep them if they win. Excited, the kids put on their jerseys and the match starts. At first, the same story repeats. Moritz and Katrina argue about who should lead the attack. But while they're busy fighting, Alex takes the ball, performs an amazing flip, and scores the winning goal. After the game, Rudy takes the kids to celebrate at a restaurant. Everything is pure joy, until Moritz spots his father waiting outside. Hole asks him to get in the car and apologizes for what happened with his mother. He tells Moritz he misses them both, and hands him back his old soccer ball. But Moritz, still hurt, refuses to forgive his father and walks away. Later, the team meets again at the shopping mall to continue their training. Despite their recent victory, Rudy reminds them that Walpert was the weakest rival, and if they want to go far, they'll have to work much harder. The kids promise to improve, and a few days later, the round of 16 match arrives. The game starts off evenly. Moritz, Katrina, and Alex go after the ball together, but they all crash into each other. Luckily, the ball keeps rolling and somehow ends up in the opponent's net, giving them another victory. In the next match, the quarterfinals, Katrina is about to leave home when her stepfather, Rothkirch, tries to stop her. He orders her to quit soccer, but she ignores him and runs straight to the stadium. Their opponent this time is Bracken. Before the match starts, Rudy reminds the team that they must forget about solo plays and focus on teamwork. However, the first few minutes are a disaster. The rival scores to quick goals. At that moment, Rothkirch arrives at the stadium to watch the game, and when Katrina sees him, she decides to prove what she's capable of. In a spectacular play, she dribbles past half the opposing team and scores a stunning goal that lifts everyone's spirits. Moments later, she's fouled inside the box, and the referee calls for a penalty. Moritz takes the ball, shoots hard, and ties the score 2-2. After halftime, the team finally finds its rhythm. In a set play, Katrina passes the ball to Alex, who backflips and scores an acrobatic goal. With that, the Devil Kickers secure another win and advance to the semifinals. That night, they go to the shopping mall to celebrate, but there, they run into Mark and his team. Mark mocks them and claims they'll never make it to the final. Moritz doesn't back down and challenges him to a contest. Whoever can keep possession of the ball for 5 minutes wins. Mark accepts. The challenge begins. Moritz quickly steals the ball from him and passes it to his teammates. Within seconds, the mall turns into an improvised soccer field. Both teams run, dodge, and fight for the ball. Alex ends up escaping outside, with security guards chasing after him, trying to stop the chaos. But thanks to his parkour skills, he evades them easily. As the clock runs down, the Devil Kickers keep passing the ball between cars and pedestrians in the middle of the street. In the final moment, the ball reaches Alex, who kicks it high into the air. Moritz and Mark both jump to catch it, but it's Moritz who manages to grab it, defeating his rival for the first time. The group bursts with excitement, but the chaos they caused on the street draws police attention, and both teams have to run off before getting caught. A few minutes after the fight with Mark, the Devil Kickers can't hide their joy. They're thrilled about the win and congratulate Alex for his effort. Eames even says he's the coolest guy in school and asks if the rumors about him are true. No one really understands what he means, but Alex gets upset and runs away without saying a word. Meanwhile, at Katrina's house, Rothkirch is determined to make sure his team wins the semifinal and to get revenge on Rudy in the process. To do that, he calls the referee of the next match and tries to bribe him. Bertie, Katrina's mother, overhears the whole conversation but stays silent to avoid causing problems for her husband. Unaware of what's going on, Moritz goes to Alex's house to ask why he got so angry earlier. There, Alex reveals a secret he's been carrying for a long time. He tells him that he used to play for Eplaken, and one day, he was called to play a very important match. But that same day, his mother had to go to prison to bail out his father, who had been arrested again. Before leaving, she asked Alex to take care of his little brother, Tommy. However, Alex was afraid of losing his spot on the team, so he decided to leave his brother alone and go to the game. He ended up scoring the winning goal, but when he returned home, he found police cars and ambulances everywhere. His brother had been in an accident, and since that day, Alex has never been able to forgive himself. Moritz tries to cheer him up, but Alex is too upset and tells him he's done playing soccer. Then he walks away, leaving his friend worried. The next morning, the team gets ready for the semifinals, but Alex doesn't show up. Rudy decides to move forward without him and puts Eames in his place. The boy, thrilled, immediately agrees. So the Devil Kickers step onto the field to face the Eplaken team. From the very start, the match is tough. Both teams fight hard for ball possession until Nico gets fouled from behind, but the referee lets the play continue. The fouls keep happening again and again, always in favor of the rival team, and the referee doesn't call any of them. However, when the Devil Kickers make the smallest mistake, the referee immediately blows the whistle. From one of those free kicks, Eplaken scores the first goal. The game goes on. Katrina makes a solo run and shoots at the goal, but the rival goalkeeper stops it. Then Moritz sees that she's open and asks for the ball, but he decides to take the shot himself, and the ball hits the crossbar. That mischance costs them dearly. The match ends 1-0 in favor of Eplaken. From the stands, Bertie watches the entire game. She's proud of her daughter's effort but also knows that the defeat was caused by her husband's cheating. Later, Rothkirch throws a party to celebrate his team's victory. Birdie takes the chance to talk to him and asks if he'll let Katrina play on his team, but he refuses outright. He says he'll never recruit a girl. Meanwhile, things keep getting worse for Moritz and his family. His grandfather is fired from his security guard job because of Rothkirch, and his mother, Janina, still can't find work. When Moritz gets home, she asks him how the match went, but he, frustrated and full of anger, yells that he's sick of everything and blames her for all their problems. Janina, at her limit, grounds him and sends him to his room. After the argument, she stays crying, not knowing what to do until she hears Hull's voice outside. He apologizes again and says he needs to talk to Moritz. Thanks to Birdie, Katrina's mother, Rothkirch's bribery is exposed, and the Eplekin team is disqualified from the tournament. That means the Devil Kickers get another chance. They'll play the grand final against Hull's team, the Hullturf. Before leaving, Hull asks Janina to come to the match and talk afterward because he wants to try to rebuild their family. When Moritz hears everything, he's overjoyed and runs straight to tell Katrina the news. He arrives at her house, calls her from the window, and apologizes for not passing her the ball in the last game. He promises that from now on, they'll play as true teammates and asks her to gather the team again. Katrina agrees and is about to climb down from the window when Mark appears, blocking her way. The boy says he won't let them leave and challenges Moritz to a fight. He starts beating him mercilessly, but Moritz manages to fight back and, with a quick move, breaks his nose again. Then he warns him to leave him alone once and for all. After that, Moritz and Katrina run off together to meet up with the rest of the team. Meanwhile, Rudy is alone at a bar, frustrated that he couldn't help his team win. He drinks too much and, later that night, decides to walk home. On his way, he tries to light a cigarette, but a truck approaches and hits him. The next morning, Moritz hears the news and rushes to the hospital with his friends, where they find Janina waiting outside. Luckily, Rudy survived the accident, though he has a broken leg. When the kids tell him what happened with Rothkirch, Rudy feels encouraged and promises to support them. They can win the final. However, because of his injury, he won't be able to be at the stadium. The team starts to panic without their coach. They can't play. But Moritz comes up with an idea to solve it. Meanwhile, Hull finishes training his team, but can't stop thinking about Janina and his son. Moments later, he sees his ex-wife entering the field. He asks her to give him another chance, and when he brings up Rudy, Janina tells him that Rudy is sick, but that she'll take his place as the Devil Kickers coach. Hull is surprised, but Janina simply wishes him good luck and walks off to join the kids. A little before the match begins, Alex arrives with his father and asks to rejoin the team. Without hesitation, everyone welcomes him back with open arms and hands him his uniform. At that moment, Janina calls Rudy on the phone and puts him on speaker. Rudy wishes them good luck and speaks directly to his grandson, asking him to lead the group like a true captain. Moritz promises he will. The referee blows the whistle, and the grand final begins. Rudy tries to give Janina instructions over the phone, but since she doesn't really understand soccer, she ends up confusing the players even more. Things get worse when Hullturf's team takes the lead and scores the first goal. The game continues, and after a foul near the penalty area, the rivals earn a free kick. Moritz and the others form a wall, but the opposing player shoots straight at the goal and scores the second one. The first half ends soon after, and Janina has no idea what to do. Then Rudy tells her to think of the strategy like it's a cake recipe. Not completely convinced, she gathers the kids and tells them to imagine they're baking one. She explains that they have to put 3 eggs in the pan, which leaves everyone completely puzzled. However, Moritz interprets the message in his own way. He believes his mom means they should place 3 players in attack. The team decides to follow that plan and heads back to the field with Alex, Katrina, and Moritz up front, while the rest focus on defense. The second half kicks off, and the Devil Kickers go all out. They start moving as a team, passing the ball quickly until it reaches Alex. who performs one of his signature spinning kicks and scores their first goal. The recipe strategy works, and Janina keeps giving more advice over the phone, mixing cooking terms while Moritz tries to translate her words into soccer language. In another attacking play, Alex calls for the pass and flips across the field until he reaches the ball. Without stopping, he kicks it hard and scores again. The score is tied and tension rises between both teams. Then Moritz gets the ball. Just like in his fantasies, he imagines himself playing in a World Cup final. But this time, he doesn't shoot directly at the goal. He controls the ball with his chest and performs a perfect bicycle kick, passing it to Katrina. She receives it and, with a powerful first-time shot, scores the winning goal. The stadium erupts in cheers. The Youth Cup comes to an end, and the Devil Kickers are crowned champions. Everyone celebrates, even Hull, who walks over to the opposing bench to congratulate Janina and Moritz with a big smile. The family is finally reunited as the team proudly lifts the trophy. Moritz walks up to Katrina and congratulates her on the goal. She thanks him for the assist, and they both smile knowing that after all their arguments, they've truly become teammates. And as everyone celebrates, Moritz looks up at the sky, dreaming about the future. Maybe someday, he'll wear the German national team jersey and score his long-awaited bicycle kick goal. Don't forget to subscribe and let me know what you think about this movie in the comments.